Could you grab some blankets? Hello, welcome to Glitter Goddess Yoga. My name is Ayam. Trent's going to join us today to model. Today we're going to do Love Your Body Flow. As always, because we can't respond to your body, thank you. Because we can't respond to your body, be intentional with each of your movements. Try to avoid pinch, pop sounds and sensations. It will be nice to have pillows and blankets for this flow. I like to use a lot of support for this flow. As a way to love your body, definitely using support is pretty much fundamental, as well as breath work. So we'll also start with a breathing technique and then move into our movement practice. As always, you can donate using Venmo at the Glitter Goddesses or DM us. All of our donations go to queer, trans, and families of color. Stay hydrated, have some water nearby, have pillows and blankets, and we'll get started. So if you'd like, you can get started by sitting on a blanket or pillow. Nice, tall, comfortable seat. If you're sitting with crossed legs like this, you can stack pillows underneath your knees. And if you're sitting with tennis, you can have a pillow above your ankles. We'll start by rolling the shoulders back. Find a nice, tall, long spine. And just tap into the natural breath. From here, I'll invite you in to the two-part breath practice. So I'll invite you to place your left hand on your belly. And by two-part, I mean we'll fill up the bottom part of the space on our torso with air, and then the upper part of the chest before we hold and release. So to inhale, inhaling to send the breath down toward the hips, into the belly. And then a second inhale to fill up the chest might rise. And then hold for a moment before exhaling to release. So here we're paying attention to where the breath goes when we inhale, and trying to inhale twice before we release the breath. So inhaling to go deep into the belly, the hand should lift a little bit. Inhale one more time, the chest should lift, and then release. If this feels like a force, try to relax the upper back, relax the upper chest. Just find the calmness in this breath. You might get it after a few rounds. And without cueing it, I'll allow you to do this on your own. And from here, we'll try to reverse this two-part breath. So inhaling to allow the chest to lift, inhaling all the chest in the upper part, inhaling all the breath in the upper part of the chest, and then inhaling one more time to fill in the space in the belly before exhaling. So it's almost like a gasp of stress breath when you inhale and something stressful is happening. A lot of times this is where the breath is in the upper chest. So you can fill in that spot, maybe press the chest forward as you inhale here, and then try to fill in the belly breath as well before exhale. And after your next round of breath, we'll go back to the first two-part breath. But we'll try to make the transition between the lower and upper part breath smoother. So inhaling the bottom and then the top without taking a break as much as you can before you exhale. So inhaling to fill the belly, continue to inhale to fill the upper chest, maybe pressing the chest out and forward, shoulders back, and then releasing from upper chest to lower chest. So you might find more space to inhale here. You might inhale with a little bit more control. And you can release the hands here. Try to keep this breath throughout the rest of our flow. And working to continue this breath, we'll drop the head over to the left side, left ear to left shoulder, keeping the right shoulder down and back. Still continuing with the two-part breath. And we'll drop the chin to the chest, keeping the tall spine. And drop the head over to the right side, right here, right ear to right shoulder. We'll roll over to the other side, left ear to left shoulder. And we'll grab the head with the left hand, just allow the elbow to hang heavy. And stretch out the right hand to our right side, keeping the shoulder down and back. Dropping that right hand down to our right side, we'll stretch the left arm up and over, stretching the left side body. Maybe opening the chest toward the ceiling, still keeping this two-part breath, inhaling slow and controlled to the lower and upper part of the chest, and then exhaling to release. When you're ready, we'll drop the left hand to the left side, dropping the head to the right side. And grab the head, just let the elbow hang heavy here without pulling any extra weight. Keeping the left shoulder down and back. And then drop the left hand down to the mat and reach the right arm up and over. And let's sit back up. Bring the hands to the knees. From here, we'll fill the belly and the chest with the 2-part breath. Pressing the chest forward, bringing the shoulders back on the inhale. And then exhaling to round the spine, bring the chin to the chest. Here we can try to make the exhales just as long as our inhales. Keeping everything slow and controlled. Maybe lifting the chin on the inhale, creating some space in the throat. Maybe tucking the hips just a little bit deeper on the exhale. To round the spine a little bit more. Let's sit back up and bring the spine back to neutral. We'll create large circles with the upper body, using the rib cage to draw big circles over the hips. Sinking down to round the spine, pressing forward with the chest, rounding the spine and pressing forward just to warm up the spine here. And then change the direction of your circle. And let's come back to center. Roll the shoulders back. We'll inhale to rise the shoulders up closer to the ears. Exhale to release. Inhale, raising the shoulders up toward the ears. Exhale, release. One more time, inhaling, shoulders up. Shoulders down for exhale. This time we'll raise the arms up overhead for the 2-part inhale. And as we exhale to bring the arms down, we'll bring the right hand into our back space and the left hand to our right knee for a twist. We'll inhale the 2-part breath to sit tall and long. Exhaling to deepen the twist, turning the chin all the way to the right. Finding a slow, controlled belly breath here can feel really good in the twist. On the last cycle of breath here, let's try to find an even deeper inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, we'll raise the arms up and over again. And drop them over to the other side, right hand to left knee, left hand into our back space. And we can inhale that deep belly breath here to sit tall and long, maybe press the chest a little bit forward. Exhaling to complete the twist and turn all the way to the left. One last big inhale here. And on the exhale, you can release. From here, we'll open up the arms wide. And then crossing the right arm over the left. Give yourself a big hug. We'll take a couple breaths here. Maybe allowing the elbows to rise as the breath comes up to the upper chest. Maybe rounding the spine just a little bit to exhale. Giving your body some love here. Maybe take a moment to hug yourself the way you would a parent or a best friend. Taking a breath to receive that hug. And then we'll bend in the left arm, straighten the right arm long. Keep that right shoulder down and back. Opening up the outer right shoulder. Maybe engaging to press away with the right elbow. And you can release when you're ready. We'll roll the shoulders back a couple times here. And then inhale, spread the arms out wide one more time. Exhale to cross the left over the right. Give yourself a big hug again. Again, we'll take a couple breaths to take in this hug like you would hug someone else. And then we'll bend in the right elbow, straighten out the left, keeping that left shoulder down, opening up the outer left shoulder. You can press away with the left elbow if it feels good. And let's release. Roll the shoulders forward this time. And then we'll roll out the wrists. Staying connected to that 2-part breath. You can change the direction of your rolls. And from here, you can spread the fingers out wide, pressing the palms away, pointing the fingers toward the body. Just slightly press into the floor or your mat, opening up the wrists, maybe giving some topical heat to the forearms. And if it feels good to you, you can flip the palms over, pressing, facing the fingers toward the body. You can press into this, maybe pulsating by balling up fists and releasing. When you're ready, you can release. Maybe shake the hands out, shake the wrists out. And take some water before meeting me in child's pose. So if you need to pause the video to go get some water, I invite you to do that. And to meet me in child's pose, I suggest a pillow or a blanket beneath the knees. You can have the knees about hip width distance. Point the feet and touch the toes behind you. And then just hinge over the hips. Spread the arms out long overhead. Let the forehead hang heavy. We'll just take a few breaths here. You can fill in that space between the legs with the belly breath. Here it's a little bit easier to notice the two-part breath, inhaling to the belly and then inhaling to the chest before releasing, because you can feel the breath against the legs here. So take a moment to really tap into that breath. Maybe making it a little bit more slow and controlled. You can return to this pose at any time throughout the flow. The best way to love your body is to do what looks like care for your body in every moment. So if what I'm leading does not serve your body, returning back to this pose or any pose that feels good for you, I definitely suggest. From here, we're going to press up into the knees. So coming up to the knees, we'll roll the shoulders back. And we'll press our hands into imaginary back pockets. Press the chest forward, press the hips forward. Just give a slight lean back, using your feet to catch your weight. Maybe closing in the space a little bit more between the shoulder blades. You can lift the chin just a bit. Try not to drop the head back too much. And try to see how far you can press the hips forward, keeping the breath consistent. And if you can, if it feels good for you, you can drop the hands down to the ankles to open up the chest a little bit more. If not, that's okay. And when you're ready, we'll come back to child's pose. So slowly, with control, engage with the lower back. As slow as you possibly can, come back down to your knees. To your hands and knees. Reach the hips back. And crawl the hands forward one more time for child's pose. We'll do the same thing one more time, pressing up through the knees, placing the hands into imaginary back pockets, press the hips forward, open up the shoulders, open the heart, open the throat, engage in the lower back to keep yourself balanced here. And if it feels good for you, you can drop the hands down to the ankles. And then slowly, with control, we'll hinge the other way at the hips, bending forward to reach the hands forward. Bringing the head to the mat. This time we can reach the hands down for opposite sides of the ankles. And from here, we'll clasp the hands behind our butts. You can press the forehead down into the mat and try to press the hands up and away toward the ceiling. If it feels good for you and you have this extension, you can keep the hands interlocked and flip the palms up toward the ceiling. And think about reaching the palms, just the palms up toward the ceiling, creating space in the shoulders, keeping the connection to that belly and chest breath. If your palms are flipped up toward the ceiling, just try to bring them back to interlocked fists. Keeping the fists up above, try to keep them in the same position. We'll use the core strength to press up into the knees one more time, the same way we did before. Keeping the hands interlocked, pressing the hips forward, using the lower back strength to keep us balanced. And then you can flip the palms one more time if you have that extension. Open up the chest. Raise the chin if it feels good. And release the hands. We'll go back into a child's pose one more time. You can stretch the hands up overhead. Let the forehead hang heavy. And from here, we'll crawl the hands over to the upper right side. Keeping the left hand glued to the floor. Peel that left hip down and back. Staying connected with the belly and chest breath. When you're ready, we'll crawl over to the other side. Reaching to the upper left. And keeping that right palm glued to the floor, we'll peel the right hip down and back. And then coming back through center, let's meet in tabletop. And every time we get in tabletop, we're remembering to stack the wrists below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. Once we find we're in the stack, we'll send the right leg back to tuck the toe. You can bounce into this, pressing into the heel, engaging the whole right side. And return the right knee back down to the floor. We'll send the left leg long, pulsate back and forth, just press into this, bouncing, open up the calf, engaging in the entire left leg. And we'll bring the left back down to the mat. From here to go into plank, we're going to press both hands into the floor with strength, Bringing back both legs, tucking both toes. To modify, you can drop the knees down. And from here, keeping the hands and feet in the same place, we'll reach the hips up and back, keeping the knees bent for downward dog. We can press into the heels again, pulsate back and forth, opening up the back of the legs. And when you're ready, you can walk the hands toward the feet for a forward fold. Let's let the arms hang heavy here, let the head hang heavy. And from here, we're going to reverse swan dive into standing extended mountain pose, arms up overhead, and exhale, arms by our sides. We'll take a moment to take a couple breaths here and ground in the feet. Maybe roll the shoulders back over here. In Tadasana, you can flip the palms. Open up the chest, open heart. From here, we'll inhale, arms up overhead for extended mountain pose. Exhale, hinging at the hips for forward fold. Inhaling for flat back, you can press against the shins, finding a tall, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. From here, we'll find clasped hands behind the back one more time. And we can do the same thing, lifting the interlocked hands with the fists up toward the ceiling. If it feels good for you, you can flip the palms up toward the ceiling. And then we're going to come to flat back from here. So reaching the arms up toward the ceiling, finding that flat back, engaging in the lower spine. And when you're ready, you can release to exhale. From here, we'll crawl the hands down the mat, finding a plank. Again, you can modify your plank by having your knees down. And then we'll press the hips forward, lowering the knees down for upward dog. Engaging in both legs. You can tighten the lower back here, press the chest forward, press the neck up, finding length. And then we'll tuck the toes one more time behind us to lift the hips back for downward dog. Just take a couple more breaths here. Releasing whenever you want to. When you're ready, we'll walk the hands toward the feet one more time. And from here, we'll grab our pillows. If you have your pillow for a prop, you can drop it in front of you. Maybe take a sip of water after you get prepared as well. From forward fold, we're going to crawl the hands over the pillow and beyond so that we can get back into plank on top of our pillows. So here the hips, the pillow can land right below the hips. So from here, we'll release the hips one more time, bringing the knees down, hips down. For upward dog, pressing the hips into the pillow, engaging in the glutes, engaging in the lower back. Using the support, you can keep the toes tucked. Open shoulders, open heart. Find length in the neck. Keep the gaze directly ahead of you, maybe slightly downward toward the floor. Finding length in the spine. We'll take one more deep breath here. And on the exhale, we'll come back to knees. Just send the hips up again for downward dog. And again, walk the hands toward the feet, over the pillow for forward fold. Noticing how different the forward fold feels here. And keeping a bend in the knees, as if the arms are super, super heavy, we'll slowly roll up the spine from bottom to the top. Rolling the shoulders back when we come to standing. Finding a grounded stance. And we'll start going into lunge on the right side. So we'll step the right foot ahead of our pillow and the left foot behind. So we'll end up dropping the left knee on top of our pillow. Just to start, we're gonna come to the toe on the left foot, pressing the left hip forward, finding nice squared hips. It's easy to send the left hip further back than the right, so finding squared hips, we're trying to make sure that they're parallel to the top of our mat. You can drop that heel back down, and then bend into that right, dropping down to frame the foot. Let that left knee fall on top of the pillow. And here we're making sure that the right ankle is stacked right above the right knee. So here we can untuck that back toe, press the hip forward. And if loving your body means finding some lengthening in this muscle here, trying to build flexibility, I would stay here and press the left hip forward. And if loving your body today means finding a little more strength, you can come up to high lunge, pressing the left hip forward even more, finding the isometric tension between both ankles, trying to pull them in toward one another. You can find strength in the core, engaging the lower spine, maybe sending the arms up. Continuing with the breath. When you're ready, we'll exhale to bring the hands back down to the mat, framing the foot. From here, we can bend back in the left, straightening out the right to stretch out this hamstring on the right side. And again, if flexibility is the way you're loving your body today, maybe pressing the ankle into the floor, trying to send the chest forward. And if you want to round the spine, you can. Breathing into the sensation here in the lower back, in the hamstrings. Trying to keep the hips squared still. So the right hip, we might need to send back just a little bit more, bringing the ankle closer toward our body. When you're ready, we'll bend back in the right leg, straightening out the left, finding that stack again on the right side. We'll just take one more moment to press that left hip forward, opening up the psoas on the left side. And when you're ready, tuck that back toe. We'll press into the mat to bend the right leg and send the right foot to meet the left for plank. From here, we'll reach the hips up and back for downward dog. Maybe finding full expression in downward dog here, straightening both legs. Trying to find length in the spine, your gaze is down toward the toes, keeping the arms, the shoulders in their sockets, reaching the hips as far back as we can. We'll crawl the hands back to meet the feet for another forward fold. You can use your pillow as support here if it feels good for you. Finding a moment of rest to let the head hang heavy. When you're ready, we'll bend in the knees. And again, like the arms are heavy, rolling up from the bottom of the spine to the top. And you can roll the shoulders once you get to the top. We'll go into plank on the left side. So step your left foot above your pillow. We'll come to the right toe, just reaching the hip forward, trying to find a squared hip. We'll come back to a flat foot, and then bend in the left leg, come down to frame the foot, and let that right knee drop onto your pillow. And again, flattening that right back foot against the mat. The work here is to press that right hip forward, releasing in the hips, trying to press down with the right hip, finding that stack on the left side. You can stay here if this feels good for you, or if you want to practice strength, you can lift up into high lunge, engaging in both of the legs, finding the isometric tension, hopping up to open up the chest, maybe raising the hands up overhead. And when you're ready, you can tuck the back toe. Come down to low lunge if you haven't yet. Tucking the back toe, we'll bend in the right knee and straighten the left leg. Again, it's okay to stay up here. It's okay to press the chest forward and come down to the hands. It's okay to round the spine. Do whatever feels good for your hamstring in this pose. Using the two-part breath to breathe into the sensation here. When you're ready, we'll bend back in that left leg, straightening the right leg behind us, straightening the foot with both hands, making sure we have that stack before we tuck the right toe. Press into the mat with both hands to bend the left leg and send the left leg back to meet the right. In our plank, we have our pillow now at our knees. If you want to lower the knees, press the hips forward, open up the chest slowly with control, finding length in the spine. Keep the gaze down at the floor, finding length. Maybe bringing the chin to the chest here. Maybe engaging in the lower spine for this last breath in this pose before we go up into our last downward dog, before cool down. And when you do go into downward dog, try to keep your hands and feet in the same place as they were in. Give yourself whatever you need in this last downward dog if you're here. Figure eight the hips. And the last time in this flow, we'll crawl the hands back to meet the feet. And remove our pillow. Finding our final forward fold. Maybe bending in the knees slightly. Just hanging here for a moment. And from here, we'll crawl down the mat to bend the knees. Leaning on hands and knees, we'll go into child's pose one more time. Maybe bring the knees a little bit wider than they were before, touching the toes behind us. Send the hips back and reach the arms overhead. And just focus back in on the belly breath, the two-part belly and chest breath here, filling up the lower belly, filling up the mid and upper chest before exhaling. And we'll press back up into tabletop. Before we go back into child's pose, let's bring the knees to touch. Knees to touch, toes to touch, and then send the hips back one more time for child's pose. Dropping the head, we'll bring the hands down behind our butts. Maybe grabbing onto the feet, giving your feet some love. And allow the spine to round here. Maybe try to bring the forehead closer to the knees. Tucking the hips. We'll come back up to tabletop. Making sure that the wrists are stacked below the shoulders and that the knees are stacked below the hips. We'll end our practice with some cat-cows. So press the chest forward, reach the hips up and back on the inhale. Try not to lift the chin too much on the inhale. And then for cat, we'll round the spine, working to press the mat away, tucking the hips, reaching the forehead toward the hips, letting all the air out of your body, and then inhaling again. Hips up and back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhaling the hips up and back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale the hips up and back. Exhale, round the spine. One more time. Inhaling. And exhale. However you'd like to get there, we'll meet on our butts with the feet out in front of us. Bent knees. You can reach the arms out long to come down to the mat. We'll slowly, with control, roll the spine from the bottom to the top. Once you get down to your mat, maybe finding a pillow or blanket to add some comfort here. You can roll up a pillow under your neck. You can roll up a pillow or blanket at that natural curve in the lower spine. And you can also have one right below the knees. Once you find a moment of comfort, you can release the two-part breath. Just tapping into the natural breath. Maybe noticing any new sensations in the body. Taking a moment of rest here, the work in corpse pose to do nothing at all. You can use the exhales to release in the lower back. Use your next exhale to release any tension in the upper spine, the neck, the shoulders. Allow the next exhale to release any tension in the hips, in the legs. Allow the next exhale to release tension in the eyebrows and jaw. For our last couple breaths in Shavasana, I'll invite us to bring the left hand to the belly and the right hand to the chest. Coming back to the two-part breath, you can inhale to fill the space in the belly, allowing the left hand to raise. And then continuing that breath into the upper chest, allowing the right hand to raise up and then fall on the exhale. While we're here, let's bring into our intentions just one way that you can love your body today. Maybe it's taking in some extra hydration. Maybe it's adding another yoga flow into your daily practice. It could be stretching throughout the day. Whatever it is, we'll hold that intention here in the two-part breath. Inhaling to fill the belly, chest, and exhale to release. I'll allow you a moment to have this breath to yourself with this intention. Allowing the breath to be a reminder throughout the day. We can remove our hands, remove the pillows and blankets, crawl over to one side, maybe curl up in fetal position for a moment before pressing up to seated for closing breaths. You can have your hands in your lap at heart center or resting over the heart. A breath for the ancestors that we bring to the space and for the indigenous people who were here on this land before colonization, breathing in. And out. A breath to thank yourself for your practice today, breathing in. And out. A breath to appreciate others for their support, breathing in. And out. And a breath for the intentions and well-being of everyone practicing with us today, breathing in. And out. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. As always, you can donate using Venmo at the Buddha Goddesses or DM us. And we are here every day from Monday through Friday, Sunday to Sunday at 10 a.m. and an additional class on Thursday at 5 with Genevieve. And we're also on YouTube, so you can YouTube the Glitter Goddesses or Glitter Goddess Yoga for YouTube to find us there. And yeah, have a great day. Goodbye.